from Mission Clinic. Good morning, Zarah.
Hi, good morning.
How are you doing?
Good. And you?
I'm great. I'm great. And I'm excited about this topic because it is something that a lot of parents, a lot of families are dealing with. And so, first and foremost, kindly enlighten us on what speech development is in children.
So, thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much, viewers out there. So, just to bust your bubble, lately, the prevalence rates for children with speech or communication difficulties is currently growing. And
it's growing?
Yeah, really growing. That's lately, when you go to me, one out of 5 schools, you surely have a child with a communication difficulty in that class, yes. But unfortunately for us, we really feel that, yes, it's a natural process, but everything is natural, but there are milestones that you should expect so that when you find out, there's something wrong, you immediately seek for intervention. So when it comes to the milestones, usually by birth, around 3 months, you hear a child making, really not making, whatever they say, really, you can't really get any words in there. They're just vowels, that kind. So by 0 to 3 months, those are the kind of sounds you should be expecting from your child.
Okay.
So if you're not seeing that...
By 3 months?
From 0 to 3 months.
From 0 to 3 months,
yes. So it's a range. So sometimes your child may go to 4 months. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So after 3-4 months going to about 6 months, you're expecting that. So from 4 months to 6 months, you're expecting that the sounds your child is making is now varying up. It's no longer the vowels, but now there are consonants in those sounds that they are making. We call them babbling. So you are hearing the ba, ma. That's where
they are now forming words.
Yes. So it's not actually words, but you're actually finding consonants in those words. So you're hearing mama, da, tu, ta, those kind of sounds by 6 to about 7 months going.
Okay.
They are turning to voices around them. So should someone just come in, they are now familiar with parents' voice or those in their environment. Now we move on to about 9 months to a 1 year old. By that stage, you're expecting that a child should have at least a word or 2.
Okay.
Usually we say the child should be able to, one of the easiest is the child say mama, dada, because those are the things around them. Yeah. Or maybe something that meets their need like water, but they won't say water, but it will sound like tata or So they find something that meets their need. Right after, from about 1 year going, you're expecting a child's words are building, vocabularies are building. The understanding is getting better. That when you may call their name, they'll turn, they're able to respond to instructions. Very little basic, go and bring the water, go and bring this, go and do that, depending on the language you are using at home. So we're expecting that these things are growing. By 2 years, that's 24 months and above, the child should have about 500 or 2,000 vocabularies. Then it keeps growing to about, then you're able to form sentences and other things. So this is purely the milestone for development of languages. Okay. So it has nothing it's not just about speech. It has to do with the child's understanding as well. The child's other things that we are looking at in communication, such as pointing, turn taking, play. Their play is quite good and everything. These things, when you are seeing and they are in place, then we know that the child is following that milestone, they are on the right path of language development or communication development. So this is basically the point at which you know that, my child is on the right path. So this is the milestone for communication development.
Okay, but is there any way that the deficiency in that could be genetic?
Yes. Okay. So there is a point where should there be maybe in this child's family. So I had a client that I was seeing, the child had speech errors. Speech errors simply means that there are certain sounds he cannot pronounce, he cannot produce, and it's not because there's some structure in there's some deformities in it. No,
in the
everything
tongue
is everything is fine. Okay, but because dad also has that kind, was in his background, you really can see it in the child. So for instance, the child cannot pronounce the sound, a particular sound, the th sound, the TH.
TH, okay.
So for that matter, this child is also struggling. So one time I asked the dad to take off his face mask and asked him to pronounce the sound. And I realized the same thing. Oh. So we know lisping. We see it in where you talk on your tongue, stop it.
Yeah.
It's actually a speech error which can be corrected. Sometimes you see a child talking this way. You realize the parents also speak that way. It can actually be corrected. So, yeah, some of these things are genetic. But sometimes some of these things have some underlying medical conditions that are leading to disorders.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, now you're saying that it can be corrected.
Yeah.
So is it that it has to be detected at a certain age?
Exactly.
Before you can do something about it, or even in adulthood, something can be done about it?
So adulthood, it will be quite difficult because you have formed it. Your brain has formed this sound. The production of it has been formed. It will be very difficult to change. It's like stammering.
Yeah.
The more you are younger, it's quite easy to correct it. The more you're older, we only say you manage it. You try and manage how you speak. Okay. So it is very good that it's detected early. I had some cases of lisping. And it's getting much better. And it's easier because the brain is malleable. You can form it in any way that you can. So, and it's much better in younger children. Okay. So it's best that it's corrected as early than when you detect it. Just start working on it. And then you just get whatever you want.
What are some other factors that could possibly contribute to this? Does it have to do with maybe when the mother was pregnant with a child, she wasn't taking good care of herself or something? Or maybe after the child has been given birth to, the baby is being given some food that he or she is not supposed to be given? Any other factors at all?
So factors, yes, but I wouldn't really attribute them to the examples you have given. We can have medical diagnosis, such as, we all know 1st April, which is the month of autism. So autism is one of the leading factors for having a language condition. Okay. So you have children who, even the parents have not identified that child has autism. But the child's language, the child is 3, you know, like the milestones I said, by 3 years, you should be able to string in sentences about 4 to 5 words in a sentence. Yeah. You should be able to give very simple reported speech. Mommy, this person did this. Daddy, teacher, see this. So you're able to do that. But this child is not talking, and it's talking as a 6-month-old baby. So, yeah, children on the spectrum or autism are likely to have communication difficulties. So there are quite a number of neurodevelopmental conditions that affect, such as autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, a lot of these syndromic conditions such as fragile egg syndrome, and a lot more that can cause. But currently, in the Western world, we are finding out that sometimes there may not be any medical condition, but there's something we call DLD. Okay. DLD is a developmental language condition. That means that there isn't any underlying cause, but the child is just finding it difficult to communicate. Oh, wow. And trust you me, it looks like how? Yeah. How? We find it very easy, but it's not easy. The process involved, there can be a break somewhere. There can be a difficulty somewhere. Right. And you really can't understand why it affects their play, it affects how they understand things. So it's not even just about the way they talk. No, it's not. It's the way they even relate to people, the way they play. Yeah. So you can see that some children in school, the teacher tells them that everyone go get your lunch bag. Not that they understood the instructional. They just looked at what others are doing, got up, and also went to pick their bag. So those are their strategies that they have found to be able to help them understand what's happening. Bring out your books, and they are looking out for what people are doing, and will just bring it out their books. So there is a gap there that they really are finding difficult understanding instruction, but they are using observation, they are using observations, they are using gestures from others, and then helping them understand their environment. So basically, sometimes people think that they are hard of hearing. Hard of hearing means that they are deaf, but they're actually not deaf. Right. If you go and do a hearing test, your hearing is fine, everything is fine, but just that in the brain of the language, there is a deficit. Then it means that it will be very easy for them to pick certain traits from other
you know, their peers and all that. Very easy because they are looking at them to learn what they are doing before they move.
Yeah. So that is why intervention is there to help them. So you're shaping the brain to be able to build on certain language, understand words. Not that they wouldn't be able to. The capacity to learn is there.
Is there,
because
exactly.
there's a deficit, it's affecting the natural process of learning. So the moment there is external help, it helps them to be able to cut it. We'll say that they will be a little one step behind, but at least they'll be able to survive in their environment.
Now, Doc, I think that you spoke to my producer and then you mentioned that after COVID, the numbers have increased. Children that are, you know, being diagnosed of speech, you know, deficiency or disorder, if that's how I should put it. And so, but I'm interested in knowing how come. What could it have been about the period of lockdown that maybe didn't contribute positively to these kids that their numbers have increased?
Okay, so we are shifting or moving from a kind of living to a very small family living system where, trust you me, we are very concerned about privacy, but it's not helping.
Oh.
We find ourselves growing up, we were going to friends' houses, playing here and there. Even if a child had a language difficulty, it was hard to detect because we were in that environment. We had a very rich language environment. What do I say by language-rich environment? I'm hearing this person talk, I'm hearing this person talk, I'm hearing different words. My brain is picking them up. That's how my vocabularies are growing. My words are building up. Then in our brain, we have what we call your mental lexicon. It's indirectly your brain dictionary, where we keep all the words in there. They're all kept in there. Now, as you keep hearing them, your dictionary keeps growing and growing and growing. But right now, we are in that very nuclear system where very little interaction. So in a day, should you have heard about 2,000 words or 20,000 words, you're likely to hear 500. And you are very fixated to screen. And because mommy has to do this, daddy has to do this, help has to clean, just put the TV on. Then you only build your language on the screen. The screen, which is very not practical, not very real. I was telling one mom that when it comes to, I'm not a fan of Coco Melon because the graphics in there doesn't depict our culture. Should I show a child a bus? And the child is always saying, wheels on the bus go? And I point to a trotro and ask the child will not relate that's a bus.
It's not relatable to us here.
Yes. So really, that kind of system is withdrawing, is gradually not building their language area. I told you as you talk, your language area in your brain, your dictionary quite increases, but they are getting limited. And if you are not exposed more, your brain kind of not is dormant, kind of.
This is surprising to me because, I mean, a lot of parents too would say that the screens really help their kids because of what they show them. You have like Coco Melon that you mentioned. There are a whole lot of kids shows that they watch. The pink pig.
Oh, Peppa Pig.
Peppa Pig. Aha. Peppa Pig. I actually have a nephew who watched Peppa Pig for, you know, like infancy. Now he speaks like them.
He speaks like them.
He speaks like them. You would think that he was born in the UK, but no, he was born right here in Ghana, but he speaks like them. So it's like there are a lot of people that would say that, the screens contributed to their children being. So this is actually confusing.
So screens are totally not bad.
Yeah.
But WHO has brought out a range at which it's good to expose your child to screens after 2. Trust you me, should I see a child who watch Coco Melon, I will know. Because,
you will know.
Yes, because they would build on language, but their language may not be functional. Functional means that they will only use the language when they are playing. They wouldn't come and have that interaction with you. They have very wide imaginative. They have a very different world altogether. Because they are very fixated. And that world that they are seeing is not applicable here. So how do I relate with you?
That's true.
So they are very imaginative. They are imaginative, quite gross. But they are always in that shadow that they want to do it by themselves. And it makes interaction quite difficult. So you see that in school they are very quiet, they like talking to themselves, they like doing this. Communication is not quite functional. But some people who say that, oh, my screens help my child, you never know what kind of environment they had. They had people talking, they had people doing this, chatting or having fun, role-playing, that kind of cartoon they've watched, and making that child's communication quite functional.
Yeah.
Secondly, about the tone, the accents you're talking about, we do not, it's quite difficult to say that I picked an accent from a screen.
Okay.
So for one of the red flags for children on the spectrum is that their tone, they're able to pick up certain accents because it's a red flag. So I have a child who has never been to the US, who has never, well, looking at their economic status, very low.
Yeah.
But the child talks like he lives in the UK.
Yeah.
Miss Zara, can we do this?
Exactly.
But he's on the spectrum.
Really?
Yes. And there are quite a number of children who have these accents. And they're like, and when you find other things, they're on the spectrum. But not saying that having an accent means that you're on the spectrum.
Exactly, yes. Yeah, I get
it. Maybe the environment, the school that they are in.
That's true.
But picking up accents right from TV is a little. But there are people who also watch the screens, the cartoons, but they are speaking
they
like
anything.
Yes. So what do you say about that? So usually we look at the other factors we look at just to rule out that this child is not on the spectrum.
Oh, okay.
Just to say that, okay, this is just purely maybe the school that he's attending.
Yeah.
Maybe the friend he has, a very close friend, or maybe he goes here once a while and there and there.
I see. What is the truth behind this statement that girls develop their speech faster than boys?
This is a myth, actually.
Okay.
In the past, that was what they were doing. And it made parents sit down and wait. Oh, because it's a boy or your bear minty, let's wait till he's about 3. Dad spoke at this age. It's actually a myth. Just so that you avoid this, expose your child as much as you can. What do I mean by exposure? People are saying expose. Have conversations with your children. My lecturer once told me that she said she was going to deliver in the UK. And in her delivery room, there was one lady she was sharing a room with. They all had given birth and their babies had been brought. And this woman was chatting, was laughing. So she thought the lady had a guest. So the nurse came, was doing her procedures, and she realized that, there was nobody, it was just the baby. And she was there on her phone. And this is where interaction begins. She tells her everything. I'm coming, I'm washing my hands, okay? So give me a minute, and the child is hearing. The child is building.
Picking all that.
Whether it's a boy, whether it's a girl. There are children there are boys who picked much faster than girls. So let's not sit down and then be waiting that because it's a boy, I'm going to wait. No, please don't let that kill you. Don't let that archaic knowledge sit you down. No, move, push, boy, girl. Now they said a gender cry yesterday. Now you identify. So just push, just expose, talk, read, chat, play. All of this will just build up their language level. Yeah. So
with what you said right from the beginning, so parents, if you have a child by 3 years and certain words, or the child is not able to make up certain basic sentences, that should raise an alarm for you. Exactly. So by 3 years.
Exactly. So by 3 years, your child should point. But realize your child is not pointing. Your child is not wants to play by himself, wants to be in his corner. It tells you that there's something wrong. You call him, you know this is his name right from 1 year. You've been mentioning his name right from womb. Some people start exposing their children. You've mentioned his name, and by 3 years he's not turning to his name. Oh, then there's something wrong. Then you should seek early intervention. So by 3 years is even, well, we say 3 years is it's not late, but it's the foundation years. But by 18 months, your child should have words, maybe about 10 words or more. So should you realize that your child is not even pointing, let me use pointing, or the child It's not looking at you when you're interacting. It's looking somewhere. It's more interested in toys than you, the human being. Then there could be something.
Really?
Yes. So why is a toy more important than you are?
Okay.
So that means it's not turning to your voice. There could be a medical condition. Could be a hearing, that he has a hearing.
Yeah, hearing
difficulty.
problem. Yeah.
So we just try. I had a client who, 1.5. She realized that when you mention his name, he's not turning. He's not. Even when you slam a door, just for us to notice that, realize that I asked them to do a hearing test. The child was profoundly deaf.
Oh.
Yes, and they had no idea. So you can imagine this. It was a boy too, and they were like, "Oh wait, Odi 3. There's someone in the family who spoke at 5, who spoke at 7, and you are waiting." And
a lot of families still do that, though.
Yeah. So which I really want them to. Now there's help.
Yeah.
In the past, we didn't know where to go to. Yeah. Now there is help. So if there is help, why wait? It's like saying malaria. Oh, ebeko, you're waiting.
Obianya malaria.
The mosquitoes are out there, so whether so whilst there's treatment, so why don't you seek help? Help is always good, and when it's early help, whatever that there is, it could be corrected.
Now, I'm interested in knowing what exactly can parents, guardians do to help, especially now, how can we say that, okay, even teachers, how can they easily identify that this student maybe is having some issues with identifying or talking or being a regular child?
Okay.
What role exactly should parents and guardians and even teachers who teach these people in nursery, creche and all that, what role exactly should they play in making sure that these children get help?
So I want to start with teachers first.
Okay.
Because they are the first hand.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
In most often identifying and drawing the parents' attention. So to teachers, so for instance, you have a 2-year-old in your class who is not talking, who when you ask him a question, maybe you are doing the sounds, you are doing this, singing rhymes, he's not doing, and everything. Most often, because the child will communicate all right, will cry. Crying is a form of communication. But because the child may be displaying certain behaviors and may be distracting the class, what they are likely to do is corner the child. And when I tell you this, I had a story of a mom who said they used to tie her boy on a chair. Yes, they would tie him on a chair just
in
so
Ghana.
Yes. They'll tie him on a chair just so that he doesn't distract the class, because it was affecting the other children as well.
How? So
good. So for teachers, the moment you realize this, move that child much closer to you.
To you.
Use gestures. I don't know anyone who let me see. Which aside Tree, what other language do you speak? English. Okay. So I want you to find yourself watching an Indian movie where they are just speaking I don't know which region, part of India.
Speaking
so
Indian
let's say,
language.
Yes, Tamil.
Okay.
An example.
Okay.
You're speaking Tamil. How would Tamil sound to you?
Very foreign.
Very foreign. Would you react? No. Would you laugh when people are laughing?
Maybe because of the visuals, I would.
Okay, so
or maybe the colors.
Okay. But understanding what's happening. Good.
Totally no.
That's what's happening to them. So move them closer to you. Go and bring your book and use a lot of pointing. Go and bring your book. So if, for instance, to them is Tamil. Yeah. You are now teaching him what book is, and you are pointing book. Bring the book. Bring it. Hold his hand to pick it up. Let him make you your priority. The others are also your priority, but he needs more attention.
Special attention.
Yes, he needs more attention. For schools that have special education teachers, then we move them to that unit to help them do more of one-on-one. But should you have a school that there isn't that, then we'll urge you that you actually find get a one-on-one do one-on-one sessions with the child.
Right.
Now, for parents, please, the screens are really not helping. It was through the screens during the lockdown that have transitioned that today we are recording. There were screens then those times, but there were more interaction because there were a lot of social interaction, going for birthday parties, going to the playgrounds, going here and there. But after a while, there wasn't that. There wasn't this social gatherings and everything. So please, try as much as possible to engage your child. Come home. When we say we don't have time, there's the car there.
Interact with them.
Yes, when you're in the car or you're going home.
Yeah.
Have a conversation with them. Yeah. When you're cooking, have a conversation with them. When you're back from home, read. That is one of the magic things that I think will really... Reading starts... I told my sister that, please, your baby, and start reading to her, even in your womb. Be reading.
We see that a lot in movies. We see that a lot.
But it
apparently helps.
Works. Yes. So reading, whilst you're reading, you want your child to love reading, but you don't do the reading to them. How do you expect your child to love the reading? So do reading. Read with them. Sit with them. Form a routine. Trust me, children learn with routine. When they wake up, they know they have to brush your teeth. When your child wakes up and he's going to eat and you ask, what do you have to do? You tell you brush your teeth, right? So form a routine with them. The moment you tell him routine with him, you see a child by the age of 3 has a wide vocabulary, has very rich, is more outspoken, more understanding, emotions. He able to regulate his emotion quite good because he's developing. And that it is because of the time parents spend with their children. So spend time, create routines with them, create things that you do, whether there's a deficit or not. It is development. We want the richest, the goodness out of your child. Yeah. So it has nothing to do with nanny doing this, leaving the child to screen. Oh, I'm going here, or I'm doing this. Expose them a lot. I tell parents that if it's because of money or it's because of time, walks are there. Take walks. I have some children that I do. When we are walking, we take a bag. I'll tell them that we are going to look for things around. We are going to, more of like a treasure hunt. Whatever you hunt and you get something fun, you get a reward for it. So that's a very fun way of having that time with your child. Don't let work take out your child's time, because by the time you realize, it may not be a speech difficulty. It may lead to other things you have no idea about. So I think parents should really spend time with their children.
It's very important.
Very, very important.
And not think that the nanny is there, or maybe, okay, yes.
Or school.
Or school.
Yes.
Because they tend to spend more time in school than at home.
Exactly.
So if they feel like, school, the teachers in school are doing a great job. So that's it.
That should the end. Again, please seek help.
Yeah.
Mission Pediatrics is where I am. We have quite a number of speech therapists there. We are not far. We are in Accra here.
Yeah.
So please, just contact Mission Pediatrics, and then we are here to.
I was going to ask you if there are, speech therapy agencies or places here in Ghana, and how easily accessible are they? And then also if, government is really putting in a thing or two to make sure that children who are lacking these get the help they deserve.
So yes, we have all over Ghana. Yes, there are services.
Okay.
In Accra, we have quite a number of services available. I would leave a chat out for you, a PDF document for you that has all this information should you have clients who would call. But in Accra, I can just offhead, I can mention Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Mission Pediatrics, Speech and Hearing Center, which is a Hacho, Rich Hospital as well, 37 also has. Outside of Accra, we have quite a number. Even some schools have speech therapists in there as well. Some schools. Some inclusive schools have specialist speech and language therapists in there. Outside of Accra, we have Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. We have Koforidua Regional Hospital. We have Tamale Teaching Hospital. And in the Volta region, is it a whole teaching hospital as well? Yes. So outside of Accra,
they are almost everywhere.
They are almost everywhere in the government sector. Quite a number are in the private sectors. Those in Tema can contact Koi Pediatrics. There are about 3 or 4 speech therapists there. And since I'll send the list to you, should you get any contacts, I think.
Oh, yes. So we have a lot of messages coming through on our WhatsApp line. So I'm going to read a few of them. And so this one says, good morning. Can you connect me to Zarah? I think Zarah would be later to put her phone number on air. So you can stay tuned for that. We have good morning. Fantastic show out there. Thank you very much. Please, my child can recite rhymes, play with other children, can say a few words, but my problem is he throws tantrum and wouldn't talk more. Please, what should I do? We have visited speech therapists at Kolebu.
Okay. First of all, I want to know how old the child is.
Okay.
When it comes to tantrums are also attention-seeking behaviors children use, and it's developmental. They'll pass that. It's a phase.
It's a phase.
So is it that the tantrums that is worrying you because he communicates? And whenever he's throwing the tantrums, does he want something? And that thing he wants, is it at that point because he's on the edge, he's not finding the right words for it?
Oh, he says my child is 3 years.
3 years,
yeah.
Okay. So by 3 years, we expected that rhymes is not the only thing you should look out that your child could do. Because I have an 11-year-old boy who can sing rhymes, but he's not communicating, can't talk.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Because the part of the brain responsible for music is different from what is responsible for what I'm doing right now.
Wow.
Yes. So music, songs is quite different.
Different.
So you would be able to sing, you would be able to do something, but understanding spoken language will be quite difficult.
Okay.
Yes. So just looking at singing rhymes and reciting the alphabets and everything isn't just a factor to say my child has vocabulary or my child's vocabulary is the same.
It's fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
So should he be able to interact or have conversations with people, I think it's quite good. But if she's going to Kolebu, I think she should just continue. Whatever that they have given her, this information is quite scanty too.
It's quite scanty. I agree with that. Yeah.
So I think she should continue going to Kolebu if that's where she started. And then whatever they have given her, the steps they have given her, I think she should just continue.
Okay.
And then she would see much improvement.
Okay, let's take about 2 more messages. Good morning. I have a 4-year-old boy who stammers. Any help? Because I had to go through it growing up and it wasn't a good thing.
Oh, yes. 4-year-old, yes. Something can be done.
Okay.
I have a 6-year-old who I'm working with and is doing much better.
Oh.
Yes, so there are times and because the child is bilingual, he stammers in both languages, but it's now much, much better. So 4-year-old is not too late for something to be done. So yes, there's help.
There's help.
So Mission Pediatrics is available to help.
Okay, next message. Hello, good morning. Please, I have a child who is 4 years old, still can't talk, don't understand, and very troubled person. Please, said he was on oxygen after he was born for about 1 week.
Okay, so hopefully we don't have any medical history of this child. So 4 years is your child, just like I said, you should be able to put sentence and it's not talking. Please seek help. I think the first thing is just to seek help.
Just to seek help.
Yes.
Okay, all right, Zarah, thank you so much. The messages come here. People just want to talk to you. I think they have a lot of questions for you. So please put your number out there. Okay. And then, where exactly you can be found.
Okay, so